A US-backed plan was supposed to chart a path out of the war in Gaza. Israel's prime minister has now rejected it, raising fresh doubts over whether the region's fragile ceasefire process can survive. Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will not withdraw its forces from Gaza until Hamas is fully disarmed. Speaking at a cabinet meeting, Netanyahu said Israel rejects the 15-point roadmap endorsed by Hamas last month.
ישראל שוללת את מסמך 15 הנקודות. שמעתי שאומרים, לא אמרתם. אמרנו, אבל הנה אני אומר עוד פעם. ישראל שוללת את מסמך 15 הנקודות. צה"ל לא יבצע נסיגה כלשהי עד פירוק החמאס מנשקו. וכשאני אומר פירוק החמאס מנשקו, זה אומר הנשק הכבד, הנשק הפחות כבד, והנשק הקל, כל הנשק, ואנחנו מדברים על פירוק אמיתי, לא פירוק פיקטיבי. עכשיו אנחנו מדברים עם האמריקנים על הנושא הזה. יש להם רעיונות, חלק מהם מקובלים עלינו, וחלק לא מקובלים עלינו.
He said Israel was still discussing the proposal with Washington, but would only accept what he called real disarmament, including the removal of lighter weapons. The plan initially focuses on Hamas's heavy weapons, tunnel network, weapons depots, and military production sites. It would eventually transfer Gaza's day-to-day administration to a Palestinian technocratic committee overseen by the US-led Board of Peace. Hamas says it remains committed to implementing the agreement. It has called on mediators and guarantor countries to prevent violations that could derail the process. The White House has not yet responded to Netanyahu's rejection. The dispute leaves the roadmap in serious trouble. The Board of Peace has limited power to implement the plan without Israeli cooperation, while the sequencing of any disarmament, military withdrawal, and transfer of authority is now unclear. Netanyahu also told ministers that no Palestinian state would be established while he remains prime minister.
כל עוד אני ראש ממשלה, לא תקום מדינה פלסטינית. לא בעזה ולא ביו"ש. לא פתחסטן ולא חמאסטן.
His position risks opening a new political divide with Donald Trump, who announced the agreement on July 30th as a major step towards lasting peace. It also comes as public support for Israel declines in parts of the United States, particularly among Democratic voters. On the ground, meanwhile, the ceasefire remains largely nominal. Israeli forces have continued to carry out deadly attacks across Gaza. On Sunday, Palestinian media reported that Israeli gunfire injured at least one child in Khan Yunis. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 1,258 Palestinians have been killed and more than 4,100 wounded since the ceasefire began in October last year. More than 800 bodies have also been recovered from the rubble during that period. The ministry says the overall Palestinian death toll in Gaza since October 2023 has now exceeded 73,000. Violence is also intensifying across the occupied West Bank, less than 3 months before Israel's general election. Israeli forces reportedly raided and searched homes and villages around Nablus and towns east of Bethlehem. Settlers and soldiers were also accused of attacking Palestinians and damaging farmland in Tubas, Al-Mughayr, Musafir, Yatta, and Wadi al-Rakhim. Elsewhere, settlers cut down olive trees, damaged water tanks, and attacked Palestinian farmers. Israeli worshippers entered the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound under police protection, while Israeli ministers and members of parliament attended an event promoting a new settlement near Jenin. Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank are considered illegal under international law. Netanyahu's party is supporting the settler vote ahead of the election, making the expansion of settlements and growing violence in the West Bank part of the wider political picture. And a separate case is bringing renewed scrutiny to Israel's detention system. Palestinian officials say Israel has confirmed that 36-year-old Ihab Mohammed Abdel Qadir Diab died in custody, nearly 2 years after his reported death. Diab was detained in Gaza in December 2023. The Palestinian Commission of Detainees and Ex-Detainees Affairs believes he died around September 2024, after approximately 9 months in custody. The commission alleges that Diab was tortured. Israeli authorities reportedly attributed his death to an underlying medical condition, but his family says he was healthy when he was detained. Palestinian officials are demanding an international investigation, the return of Diab's body, and information about other detainees from Gaza whose whereabouts remain unknown. According to the Israeli rights group Hamoked, Israel was holding nearly 8,000 Palestinians classified as security prisoners as of August. More than 3,100 were in administrative detention, meaning they were being held without formal charges or trial, often on secret evidence. Those figures do not include detainees from Gaza, classified separately by Israel as unlawful combatants. Together, these developments point to a deepening crisis across the occupied Palestinian territories. A Gaza roadmap facing possible collapse, expanding raids and settler attacks in the West Bank, and renewed questions over the treatment and fate of Palestinians in Israeli custody.